pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reverend Wilkie.
Thank you. Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you. We pray for this meeting, that it be to your glory. In Romans 15, chapter 15, verse 5 and 6, it says, "Now may the God of endurance and encouragement grant you agreement with one another according to Christ Jesus, so that you may glorify the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ with a united mind and voice." We pray this for this meeting and for this group of individuals, Father, who are leading this village. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Good evening, everyone. Glad to see somebody can make it in this hot weather. It's a little warm out there today. The first thing we're going to do tonight, we're going to get any public input. Mix it up a little bit. Does anybody have anything they would like to add right now? If not, we'll move on to the next. Item 2 is abstracts. We've all had a chance to get copies of them and look at them. If you have no further questions, they need a motion to approve them.
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, department head, Steven's not here. Okay. Chief?
Oh, he's hiding in the corner.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'd like to start out tonight with a presentation. Actually, Jim, will you step up here?
Oops, sorry.
Jim, and appreciation, 14 years of service as a crossing guard at Stockton and Bridge. Presenting you this plaque. It's James Barlow, appreciation of your many years of dedicated service as crossing guard for the residents and children in the village of Walton, Walton Central School District, and the Village of Walton Police Department. Thank you.
I enjoy doing it.
Thank you very much for your dedication and your time.
All right.
Take care. Congratulations.
Alrighty, that's it. I can go home. That would be nice. Quick things that are all pretty easy tonight. First, Freddie and Josh did complete their criminal interdiction training up in Utica. Got through it. They said it was an outstanding course, and they were glad that they'd attended. We had an unexpected training come up on Thursday, of all things. We got notification that there was a data master breath test training in Binghamton available. Well, we checked for availability on Friday, and we actually got Kevin Doig into that class starting Monday. That was at the Broome County Sheriff's Office, and that runs from Monday through the 9th. So it'd be the 6th to the 9th at the Broome County Sheriff's Office. Like I said, it was totally unexpected, so I didn't really get a chance to present it to the board, talk to the mayor and Teresa about it. So he's there, and it's a necessary course for him, it really is. We've obtained 2 of the computers that we had requested last month from ICO. They're budgeted at $1,300, and they came in at $1,300. Also, the ammo that we requested from Giffords, most of it's in, the rest will be in shortly. The range for our guys will be the end of this month or the beginning of next month, and that came in at $769.30, and we budgeted $800.
Where do they go for that? All the range work? Where
That's in Dalhousie, just the sewer plant.
Okay.
Just as you're going into the village, the back side of that, they have a large berm, and they still gets interesting at times, I understand. Send them over the berm once in a while. That's not true. They don't. It's just I got Ron's tape recorder running. I'm like, oh great! Cops are shooting. Cops are shooting.
How many rounds did that over the berm?
No, the ultimate sin is to hit the wire holding the targets. That's the ultimate sin. And the other thing that I have is we had requested 2 evidence cameras, and Radio Shack actually got those. We had budgeted that at $300 and came in at $279. So we've stayed under budget on everything that we've acquired so far this year.
Very good, thank you.
That's it for me. Any questions?
Are you caught up with all the things we've been replacing, the radios and the different computers? Or you still have stuff you're looking to bring up to date?
Actually, I got to tell you, with this budget, we've pretty much caught up. Now it's just going to be a matter of maintaining. The only thing that we're a little short on right now, and they're actually in the process, we're going through the process of obtaining them, which probably I should present to the board actually, is through KJBL. We were getting 5 new portables. Currently, the ones that our part-timers are using are taped together, and some of them are rubber banded. So I think we budgeted $1770 for that, and we got a quote on that for that. So they're going to hold to that. Just as I got to tell you, ICO held to their quote for 2 years for us. So
Right, didn't raise the prices, yeah.
yeah, so he did extremely well by us.
That's where he's really a little treasure in Walton.
He is. He really
I
is.
came home from vacation and my computer was out. So I went over to him this morning and I brought it over and I had it back by 3 o'clock all fixed.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Just
yeah.
like that.
very service oriented.
Yeah.
He really is.
You
Good.
stick around for
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Mr. Smith? AKA Butch, the new DPW superintendent.
Congratulations.
Congratulations from the board,
Yeah, welcome.
or condolences, depending on how we go. You got big shoes to fill, that's for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
We only allow 45 minutes for your speech.
That's it? Well, I'll be well under that.
$0 in the budget for the first 3 meetings.
Man. All right, so did everybody get the report okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right, that was a guess. Any questions on anything?
I was telling Steve this morning that I've gotten several compliments on how the pool is running this year.
Good.
So pass that on. That the lifeguards are doing a very good job. They're very pleasant. So that's nice. We don't always hear all those nice
No,
things. So I
no,
want
it's
pass
good to
that
hear
on
good
to you,
stuff.
and you can
Yeah.
pass it on to Brian.
Will do.
Yeah, nothing else. We've already discussed when we had that little bit of a flooding
Yep.
and the rain there, where we're going to be sitting down with DOT,
Yep.
state DOT, and try and come up with some kind of.
Yeah, we did
fix it.
find, one of the guys said he found a big hole on Ogden Street in the ditch line. And I went up and looked at it, and the hole is about this big, but it goes full length of the sluice pipe. So we're gonna have to dig up the hole up Ogden Street from Old Prospect up and find out what's going on there, refill it. So hopefully, maybe later this week or early next week, we're gonna start digging into that, because that's pretty bad.
Wow.
It's deep. So,
What's it, on the very last thing, repaired ditch line on Ogden Street? Was that?
yeah,
That's it,
that's
that's
there,
what-
yeah. That just came up this morning.
Okay.
We did not know that was there. It's a good thing the one guy seen it before somebody actually drove into it. So, we got it coned off right now.
Seems to me if Butch isn't asking for money, we should let him go.
That's right. No money today. What's up?
Well, we may, the couple just came in, we've already had public input, but I want to give you a chance to, if you, are you from Ogden, the people that live by Ogden Street?
Yeah.
That's what I figured, so I'll give you a moment, I mean, was there something that you would like to say?
Yes.
Please.
We're wondering what town or county or state's gonna do about the flooding problem over there. Because it's worse than ever. The one street that goes up on Old Ogden goes uphill, like Murray Avenue, wherever it is, street. You know, last year, I guess they paved it or oil and chipped it. The state or town, wherever they did, they put a ditch on that side, right, with gravel line. The water's on this side. Water cannot go uphill. So where does it come? It comes over, you know, our way. There's a stream that comes down which runs,
So they're putting up the road that goes up to
Moore Park.
Moore Park, that's the town that does that.
well, came down to the creamery, 3/4 of it came through our yard. We had 4 inches of mud over our pool.
Yeah, I saw, I was over there, I saw,
We're spending over almost $9,000 to get the pool done and a liner in there, right? If it don't get fixed, I'm gonna take tomorrow, I'm gonna have the gas company see where the gas line is. I'm gonna borrow my father's 580 case backhoe, and I'm gonna dig a trench from where the brook is, down on the side to the culvert. Yeah, because I can't afford to spend $9,000 again.
no.
That's
If it
a
happens
town
again,
road.
if I don't have that
It's all
done,
private property all the way through there.
the town, county, and state gonna get sued.
No, I don't see where it is.
Because we can't, you know, I'm a veteran, I'm disabled, you know, I can't afford this.
No, I hear you, but I understand exactly what you're saying. I don't understand because I don't live there, I didn't have to deal with that. However, all that property, like by your house and back there, that's all private property up in there. There's nothing that the village owns or anything. The
Right.
town does own that road up there, and I can speak to the town about it. We were talking to Butch, and I've already put a call into the state DOT and told them what was going on, that I'd seen it, what's going on.
Over there the other day.
We're gonna have a meeting this week to figure out what we can do, all get together. There's gotta be a way of, behind you also, up there, they have Mountain View Estate, oops, I'm pointing, they have Mountain View Estates. They have a big ditch up there that hasn't been dug out for years and years and
But
years.
there's been a lot of water diverted away from Ogden over to the line, right? And then from the other road, it comes down,
Right,
right? 3/4 of the water went to the creamery, that muck and stuff like that. I have onions in the ditch, or the stream coming down there. They came out of my garden. I had 3/4 of water going through my garden. 4 inches of mud over top of my pool, right?
no, I hear you
If it
what you're
happens
saying.
again and town can't, or state, county can't do anything, I'm gonna sue everybody.
Okay,
But tomorrow I'm gonna get the gas company, I'm gonna find where it is, I'm gonna take my father-in-law's backhoe and I'm gonna dig a trench down there. The town can come up, put some stone in it, fine. But I'm gonna divert the water away from my pool and my garden.
okay,
That's the thing.
Is that a town road?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
The town is having their meeting right now.
I don't care what they have. Tomorrow I'm gonna do something about it.
No, but I'm saying the town, they're having a meeting right now. Why don't you go up to the town hall and speak to the town board? They're having their meeting now also.
So that's weird.
Right, that
129.
129 North Street.
You know where the medical office is?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Right across.
Right, right. They just started at 6 o'clock, so go up there and talk to Joe Setter. He's the supervisor up
But I
there.
can't wait, you know, 'cause tomorrow they're gonna.
No, I understand exactly, but that's a town road, and they're there right now. Go take a look. All right?
Their version of this
He knows.
meeting is happening
Man, we
right
talked about
now.
it the other night.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so
being
take-
part of the town, not the village, I would go up and talk to them too and let them know what's going on.
New York, Watershed Authority, they're well aware of it. They don't want all that stuff coming down there.
So I would take a walk, go up there now if you would, because they're meeting right now, okay? And I'll thank you for coming, and like I said, we'll talk to DOT.
But I'm gonna try and take care of the problem tomorrow. If they wanna come and fill the trench up with stone and do it nice like the state does.
Yeah. Well, maybe the state will do it too. Okay,
You know, like tomorrow.
okay, good enough.
very
All right, thank you
I
for
wanna see my
coming.
pool.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming down.
Okay, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Good luck.
Yep.
I just wanted you to sit while that was going on. I figured we'd get that.
Yeah. I'll get
And if it got worse, I was gonna say, I told him, put your phone.
Yeah, no problem, whatever.
It goes with the turf.
I'll
all
take
right?
it.
Careful. All right, thank you. Nothing else, thank you. Take care.
Do we know who they are?
Ron's gonna get the name.
Tomorrow, I got.
We know, Joey, you know who they are, right? The name?
I can look it up.
Yeah, we have it listed. We know who they are.
All I got was Ron and Audrey. I'm listening to them.
Thank you.
Has to be excused. I have another meeting.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bless
Thank you
you
for
all.
coming.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Jason?
Hi, Jason.
Hi.
Good evening.
Everybody get my report okay?
You did, thank you.
The one thing I did leave off here, which, were there any issues with the influent? I said, no, actually there was. When we had the flooding, Ed mentioned it earlier. We did have, our flow went through the roof, we had to add a filter. The water laying on Delaware Street didn't help it. That was all basically coming in the manhole, so that was coming down through. And I think there were some open trenches around the village that shouldn't have been left by contractors the way they were, and we were getting that water too. So it took us about 2 or 3 days to get through all the water that came in. We were almost 2.6 million overnight, and everything turned brown. So we did have a little bit of an issue with that, but after everything dried out and it stopped raining and the water levels went down, things went back to normal.
I
So,
was amazed at how Delaware Street was so bad at first, and then within a few hours, it was all gone. So
Yeah.
that's a good,
yeah, we had a guy there. He was there most of the night on whatever night it was. He was there most of the night, and we had to go to 4 filters, and we were borderline to go to 5 in the filter building because the flows were up there pretty good. So, we did have, when water lays on Delaware Street, we get hit pretty hard over there, so.
Turbidity violations?
Nope.
Nice.
The one thing though that, if you'll notice on the top of the report, we added max day, for the flow. The state's asking that we report our max day for the month. So I don't know if that's a, prelude to at the next speedies permit, if they're going to include that, and then, that would be a violation. Because right now we're under our monthly average. We're monthly average at 1.55 and we were 1.26, but our max day was 2.3. So if they're asking us to report that now, I have to believe that at some point they're going to make it a requirement.
That doesn't seem fair.
No, but every time we renew our permit, there's always something they change. That's why we had to buy that fancy chlorine meter, because they changed our limit to tighten us up further, so we had to buy a meter that would read it. So there's always, it's the state, there's always something.
Jason, do you know if they're doing that with all the different plants, or are they targeted Walton?
As far as the I don't know about the flow, but the chlorine, I know Delhi is going through it. They had to buy the same meter. I actually went to Delhi to get training on how to run ours when we got it. So I know Delhi has it. I'm not sure about the rest of the way up the line, but it's over a certain flow, then they start getting into the nitpicky stuff. So other than that, the plant's running very well. We haven't had any turbidity issues. We haven't really had any issues at all. So it's been giving us time to get maintenance and stuff done. I do have a couple requests tonight. I'm going to request the purchase of 3 Walton chemical pumps for Seabud from Cyclops Equipment. That's to move our coagulant into the filters. The ones we have are original to the plant. So that's at a cost of $3,833.70, and that's 100% New York City cost.
Make that motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
That's carried.
And the second is also a 100% New York City cost for 5 airlifts for the second stage of the Seabud sand filters at a cost of $4,487. That's 100% New York City.
Motion.
Second. Oh, I'll make.
I'm looking for a motion. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
With the sand being changed down there, does it seem to be chewing them up quicker?
I think so.
It's coarser.
Yeah. We just pulled all the airlifts, and we did have holes in some, and we've got a bunch of airlift hoods, and they're all, we replaced the ones we needed to. We've had to put some liners on the hoses because it's eating the hoses up. But I think now that they've got new airlifts, I think it'll go away. But right now, as abrasive as that new sand is, it's just chewing some stuff up right now. So it may be a little bit of a process here, but it'll simmer down.
Screw press been running okay?
Screw press has been running really good. We've been tickling 20%. Set it and forget it. I mean, that thing has just been chugging right away. It's been running really well.
So what did they do to fix it? We were having that problem.
They went through and made some slight programming changes. Before, it would ramp itself all the way to 100% if it didn't like the way the pressures and stuff were, and they took that 100% mark and they slowed it down to like 75%. So now it actually has to do something instead of just discharge everything. So that made a big change. They changed our sludge pumps, the wheels on the sludge pumps, so they actually they can run more sludge with less amperage on the motors. So that was a big change. And they went through and made some other programming adjustments in there, and they've dialed it in. So it's running a lot better now. And even if we get sludge from Domo or we get stuff from Andes, that doesn't seem to have a big effect on it right now. So
Good.
They've also gave us the ability to set it in batch mode, so we can see what's in our holding tanks at the end of the day, and we can say, well, we want to run 8,000 gallons out of here. When it gets to the 8,000 gallon mark at night, it shuts itself off, goes through a wash, and then it keeps us ahead of the curve the next day. So we can we don't have a full tank the next day because it ran until 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So,
good.
and if it runs into an issue, it'll alarm itself out and shuts off, so there's no catastrophe. So just, enabling all that stuff has helped us quite a bit. And they're still been in contact with us to make sure things are running good. And so it's been running really well. We ran it 18 times last month, and we didn't run the belt press at all. We'll probably run it this month sometime, just to run it, to make sure everything still turns on it and make sure everything's good with it.
That's good.
We do have our blacktop patching done. The ceiling, I'm waiting on because Vacherie's over there right now with the grit screw project, so it's not really the time to be sealing the parking lot. So the new influent pump is over there. We're scheduling to get that in, get that all installed, and as soon as the flows go down. And other than that, we're upgrading our exterior lightings, the wall packs on the buildings to LEDs. We're doing that out of the building maintenance side of the budget, so get all that, get those things so we can see over there, and hopefully it'll help out with the electric costs too.
When you swap out the inflow pump, you're gonna send one out, let them shelf that one?
That's the plan. It'll all depend on how things land with the whole grit screw project. That's part of the project, so we'll have to see how everything lands, but that is the plan, is to send that out and get it rebuilt, so we'll have a spare. God forbid something happens and you have to put one in there.
Yeah.
So, which will be a good thing to have, so.
Yeah, there's never been a backup for one.
No, and those are the most important pumps in place.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's all I've got.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bill?
Can I get a copy of the report?
Absolutely.
Take care. Have a good night.
Thank
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you for all your years of service.
All right.
Take care. Have a good one.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Bill.
Thank you very much, Bill.
We do have actually a number of things to touch base on tonight. At the wastewater treatment plant, grit screw project Jason mentioned is underway. Contractors mobilized last week. Installed the bypass pipe and started some of the demo work in preparation of the replacement grit screw. So that's on order. It takes 6 to 8 weeks to get it here. So we're probably looking at, the late September timeframe for the new one to go in. We do have a payment request from Vacherie Construction for the amount of $20,615. The project cost was $94,000, so we're 20% in, give or take. So we would ask that the village consider payment of that invoice.
I'll make the motion.
Need a second?
Second?
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Kind of one of the bigger items on our handout tonight is the water system. So the state has funding available right now through the Water Infrastructure Improvement Act. The village submitted a application to this program in 2015, the first round. We haven't been successful in being awarded funding. This is now the fourth round of the program. It's still in place. It's funded for the next 2 years, I believe. We wanted to discuss if the village wanted to modify the current project that we have in. Right now, we went in 2015, and it's rolled over year to year to year. Like I said, our project didn't score high enough. The project we proposed was just replacing water mains on some of the side streets. If the village wanted to consider a modified project where we still replace some water lines, but do some rehabilitation work at the water tanks based on some inspection reports that we've received in the last year, as well as some modifications and upgrades of some of the wells. Things like that have a bigger impact and a bigger benefit system-wide and can help us score a few more points than a water main on a street that may only benefit the residents on that street. Mm-hmm. So from the funding agency's perspective, you kind of get a few more points for when you do things with your sources and your tanks, and that have a system-wide benefit. So we've looked at it a little bit with the mayor and DPW committee and discussed modifying the project scope to that end, and wanted to reach out to the board and see if that's something you wanted to pursue. Funding applications are due September 7th. If we want to submit an application, we basically have to redo the one that we did in 2015. And that's, a physical application, Village of Walton applies for this, this, and this. But it's also an engineering report that details what the project is going to be, what the estimated cost is going to be, what the impact to ratepayers is going to be. And we would also have to redo the seeker, the State Environmental Quality Review. Everything we're looking at is still a type 2 action, so it's a fairly minimal review. And then the final item is the bond resolution, which authorizes the expenditure of funds against a given project.
So what is that, 65%?
The funding is 60% grant. If awarded, it's 60% grant, and then the remainder would be a loan for 30 years through EFC. So it's something we can pursue. Right now, the current project is rolling over year to year. That'll still happen in the 4th round. There isn't a commitment to do the project even if you were funded. But it is something we applied for a few years ago, and with it continuing to be available, if the village wanted to consider, doing a modified project to upgrade the water system.
So we wouldn't be taking anything away, we're adding some.
We looked at it a couple of different ways. Initially, it was just adding stuff, but in an effort to kind of reduce costs and at the end of the day, reduce impact to ratepayers, we would look to keep the project costs the same as what we had in the other projects. We'd probably be eliminating a street or two of proposed water line replacement and substituting it for tank and well work.
Okay.
So the project cost that we put in for in 2015 was 1.7 something million. So we would look to keep it in that range, in probably $1.75 to $2 million would be the project cost. 60% of it, if funded, would be grant. There's still huge dollars. I don't minimize that at all.
I want to do it, but the thing is, I'm concerned that people are complaining now about the water bills and sewer bills and everything.
Right.
And you're caught between a rock and a hard place, because you want to do the right thing,
right,
and then you get people yelling and screaming that the bills are going up. But then if you don't do it, and these streets are, some of them, Prospect, how old is that? That's probably 100 years old.
Pushing it.
Yeah. And if it all breaks down and they don't get water for a period of time, then they say, well, why the hell didn't you fix it? So, it's, I just don't know what the right thing to do. I mean, my gut says to do it, go, because we have to do it,
right,
but you're going to suffer.
It's still going to be, 40% on a $2 million loan is $800,000, if I did the math right. And it'd be probably a market rate interest. I think we did, a rough calculation. So you back into, how much your debt service is going to be on a given year, and then you divide that amongst your ratepayers, and that's, what your impact is going to be. So
it's another capital rate increase. That's
right,
what it is.
Right. If we move forward with it.
How long does it take to get approval for this? This would be like at least a year and a half probably away, 2 years away.
Right. I mean, the announcements, they don't say when they're going to announce it. It'll probably be around the end of the year as to when you've been awarded, and then there's a mountain of paperwork to do to go through all the state applications and such. So it's probably a 2020 construction project. And then at the end of the project is when you start incurring debt service. So they provide the grant and then a short-term loan, and then at the end of it rolls into a long-term mortgage essentially. So 2021 would probably be when you start incurring, debt service against it, and then it's a 30-year payback.
Well, if we didn't do the project and we had a catastrophic water main break, what would that cost to repair? And then we'd have to pull a bond for that. What would that cost?
At that point.
Well, when you're calling somebody an emergency, you know what happens. It's just like you have your house. Yeah. They charge you the rate right where they can get right then and there. So.
And it's 100% us at that point.
Right. Yeah. Then it's all us. Right. So, but we had sat down and talked about it. I was feeling that we should go for some of the wells and some of the tanks, because that's really what needs some work on, and cut back on some of the streets. But but it has to be a board decision, not.
Right, and that's why we haven't submitted anything. We haven't advanced anything. The program was announced, or the fourth round was announced a month and a half ago now, so we've, kind of gathered some information and.
We went through this when, God, 10, 12 years ago. Remember, we were doing the first upgrade in the village and people yelling and screaming, but some of the lines were over 100 years old we hadn't done. And now that we've done them all, they're all like really happy and they get done, but you got to pay for it,
Are we, if the proposal as it stands and has stood for 3 years isn't getting approved, are we likely to get approved if we leave it as is, or are we more likely to get approved if we add in some?
I think we'd be more likely, we'd have it's all a score-based thing largely. We received, I think, 45 points based on our project score. If we do things with the tank and well, we might be able to bump that up to 55 or 60 points.
When you talked at that meeting, you said that if it's something that's going to affect the whole system.
Right, it has a
versus
larger
one
benefit.
street, it has a better benefit and
Right.
a higher.
Unfortunately, the thing that we fit into is a category that we care and we take care of our water system, so we don't score that high.
Right.
If we were a
had a
place that didn't do
contaminated well or
anything, we'd get very
something,
much
you'd
higher
have-
points. So there's a good and bad part of it. The good part is that we do take care of it, but
Yeah.
the bad part, we don't score that hard, so, that high, I mean.
Does the sewer system count? In the,
Not on this half. This is drinking water program. They have a clean water, which is the sewer side. The funding's available for that too, but they are separate. Because your budgets are separate. Your water goes to water, your sewer goes to sewer, your general goes towards, to other things, so.
we could use a grant for a new screen at the sewer plant.
Yeah.
Desperately needed one, and it's all on us.
There is funding available through this. This is the Water Infrastructure Improvement Act. It was however many hundreds of millions or billions of dollars that the state passed for statewide programs. Water projects are eligible for a 60% grant. Sewer projects, clean water, are eligible for a 25% grant.
25.
Yeah, big difference.
So, I mean, that is, an available resource if it's something you wanted to pursue. And then you're paying 75 cents on the dollar, which is better than the whole dollar, but it's still
75 cents.
a big cost, so.
Well, it seems like if we can add some elements to the grant proposal, that will benefit more people. And no pun intended, it's easier for people to swallow.
Right.
No, she did.
She did.
Yeah, Steve and I sat down with you guys, and we had felt it better to go for the newer plan with the water tanks and the wells. That affects our drinking water, and then go for the other. But we need the okay from the board to go ahead with it.
Yeah, because when it comes down to it, people want to turn on their faucet and have clean water,
You have, right, you need.
and
And they don't want to pay for it either.
well, we all take it for granted until it isn't
And
there.
the one day you don't have.
Yeah,
have it.
but if something happens, you can't fix it immediately, so then people are going to be without it for a while.
Right.
It's not a good
It's
thing.
a never-ending.
And the water rates are going up everywhere. I mean, if anybody calls around and sees other towns and villages, you'll see that their rates are, a lot of them are higher than ours. So, I mean, we're very comparable. It's not that we outstand anybody else, we don't. So, I just need somebody to, if you want to go ahead with this, make a motion and we'll do it. And if not, then we won't,
With the revised
Yes.
grant proposal. I'll make the motion that we do the revised grant proposal.
I'll second.
All those in favor of doing that?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
We'll get information around. They are due September 7th, so I'm not sure how that's we may need to schedule a special meeting with the Labor Day.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
we miss our
How much
Monday
time do you
meeting.
need?
What's that?
How much time do you need before we meet?
We could do it either the last week of August or the first week of September.
Okay.
Most of our stuff is somewhat independent of the bond resolution, which we'd have to get the costs for. The exact cost. Yeah, either the last week of August or the first week of September.
Okay.
So that was the big one of the big ones. Shepherd Street, I think we're still trading information back and forth with DASNY. The soil and water grants and application, that was to install the in-stream grade control structures to try to prevent washouts of our utilities. Soil and water's kind of taken the lead with a couple of those. The project we initiated last month with CWC was to do studies of 5 private properties in the village to do flood assessments. The CWC awarded that project or that contract to the village, and the village authorized us to begin. We have a surveyor planning to be here tomorrow to confirm floor elevations, and then we compare those to flood elevations and see, how many things and how much the weight of water is against the side of the building is, and how you might have to raise a boiler and things like that. So that's proceeding. And I know Steve's been in contact with some additional properties, so there may be others. And CWC has kind of opened the rules up on that a little bit to make it hopefully easier for property owners to take advantage of the program for initially a study, but long-term they provide funding for the implementation. Whatever the study recommends, they can fund a portion of the fix-up. The last item on our agenda is another big one. We've talked about over the last 2 months, I think, the Sidewalk grant with New York State Department of Transportation, the TAP program, Transportation Alternative Program. So we've put together most of the application to look at a project to install sidewalks in a few different areas in the village. Notably along Delaware Street in the areas that the Department of Transportation didn't replace over the last year or two to try to kind of fill in some of the gaps. And also on Water Street to install a connection from Water Street back to Delaware Street, and along North Street and a section of Benton Avenue. So the pink is where new sidewalks would go in to replace existing. The green is where new sidewalks, there aren't any now. Water Street in particular, folks kind of compete for the real estate with traffic, so sidewalks in that area seem like they would be beneficial, and then the other areas would be replacement of existing ones.
And the orange is what? Yeah.
The orange is what the Department of Transportation has replaced over the last year or two. They were in town last summer and replaced most of the stretch up past the Big M and the bus garage. The year before they were here and did a bunch of the crossings and put in the ADA ramps. So we've put together an application through the TAP program. Nothing's been submitted yet, but we do have an initial application put together to go through this program. The program provides funding for alternatives to vehicular traffic, sidewalks, streetscapes, things that are going to improve the safety for pedestrians and enhance transportation for pedestrians and bikers and things like that. Initially, we did look at putting a trail through the Water Street site that the floodplain reclamation is going to take place on. That was deemed not eligible because it didn't connect 2 points. It was a recreational trail, and this is a transportation program, so it wasn't seen as eligible by the department. So the rest of this proposal, as we've got it laid out right now, is and the big item with this is obviously the cost. Right now, we've estimated it at between $2 and $2.5 million, $2.25 million to replace this. A lot of that is associated with it being administered by the Department of Transportation. They have a litany of rules and regulations and stuff that if the village was just doing a project down a side street, you'd pay probably a lot less on a per square foot than you would going through the department. the plus side with this program, it is 80% grant, 20% local match. So a $2 million project would have a $400,000 local match for the village to essentially kick in.
You can also do in-kind service too, correct?
In-kind services are eligible. They have a slew of paperwork to track the value of the in-kind service, but they are eligible. CHIPS funds are eligible to count as the local share. If you get grants from other agencies other than SAM grants don't count. With the grants Senator Bonasek has been able to secure, those can't be applied to this program. But if there's other programs or other, sources of funding, generally they can be. So there are a few opportunities to try to minimize the impact of the cost, but it is, this size project, even at an 80-20 is, expensive endeavor for the village, so.
I noticed that there's nothing on the other side of the river.
There isn't anything on the other side of the river in this iteration.
Stockton Avenue and Bridge Street is a connection point, like you mentioned before.
Right.
And we've had several complaints from residents begging for new sidewalks to be installed on the Stockton Avenue path that leads downtown.
Right.
That would be deal.
In more
That's the state.
disrepair than,
That's the state. That's the state that.
That's what held it up. It's the state.
That's the DOT. We wouldn't do that.
they're not our sidewalks.
The state, it's on the state highway, the state would do that.
But that doesn't hold true for Delaware Street?
I mean, these are along the state road as well, Bridge Street, and Delaware Street.
Yeah,
Road as
okay, well.
There are sidewalks in far more disrepair on Stockton Avenue and Bridge Street than warrant those pink areas on the map. I mean,
Right, I wouldn't disagree.
I wouldn't spend $2 million and leave broken sidewalks broken and semi-good condition sidewalks being replaced like they did at the school. Nonsense. They replaced brand new sidewalks with new sidewalks.
I mean, the scope can certainly be changed. Nothing, like I said, nothing's been submitted. If we want to pick different streets, we can do that. You can add some stuff.
Well, didn't they say something about also going towards the schools? They wanted,
Yeah. And that
the
was
schools over there too, you got the high school, you're right.
initially, the target was the Delaware Water Street area, and that was largely based on the vision, what do we call them, the visioning sessions that we had with soil and water in the town and county planning. 6 to 8 months ago with what is the desire and what is the input from the community, what do you want to see downtown?
Is this Veterans Plaza right there?
Yes. Part of the, some of the comments were, streetscape related and, what are you going to do with some of this area after it's been rehabilitated and, the floodplains are restored. So what started us in this area was that, that's where that project targeted was, downtown in, between Delaware Street, Water Street, Bridge Street, those areas. So that's what kind of started this iteration.
Well, let me ask you this, could we, I mean, North Street is pretty, I don't know how the sidewalks are over here, but I'm just saying, what if we didn't do Delaware Street, the ones that weren't done, but we continued up, like Steve was suggesting, we continued up Bridge Street and went down Stockton?
Yeah.
Remember we had we had at least one letter.
Roberta Lacey.
Yep, and, the church was gonna replace their sidewalk. They were doing construction, so they were putting it off, but they were gonna replace their sidewalk and.
Is there sidewalk on that side?
No, it's
No,
just,
No, only on this side, only on this
Yeah.
side.
but it's the only thing that
And the
connects
same with
that
the,
side of the village.
Right.
Same with the
Yeah.
motel. The motels is.
Is it possible to look into that?
You can.
Depending on what the project is, every so often we hear from folks on Maple Street, where this high school empties out, that there's no side, and I'm not.
Yeah, they complain about the kids walking it, but they don't want sidewalks
That's what
there
I'm
either.
saying.
So,
I don't know that they do.
I hear them all the time. It's okay, we'll put in the sidewalk. No. But I mean, you can't have it both ways,
We
yeah.
only have sidewalks to the cemetery.
So, could you do something like that?
We can revise the area.
Because I'm just wondering how much it would cost to do Stockton Avenue.
Right. Well, I'm kind of looking at, a scale here. You know, this all.
If you took out this and this, but you added this, it'd be pretty close, I'm thinking.
Yeah, but it's not
Where they
gonna
com-
cover the part that he's talking
Yeah,
about.
the way they're
To get all the
complaining
way to
about
the
is up
motel
here.
is, you
Yeah.
know, another
They're up
Oh,
$1,000
okay,
that way.
okay, yeah.
So
Well, I
maybe
mean,
start at the
ultimately, you
village
can-
line here and work backwards.
You can,
Right.
it's.
Yeah, start at the village line and go- yeah.
Where you wanna work towards.
I would just like someone to go to the village line on that side and look.
Yeah.
No, it's in rough shape. I mean,
Could you, and then could we
And you know,
meet
that
again and then
senior park
discuss
is
it?
there. That's part of the problem, that senior mobile home park.
Yep.
And a lot of them walk to the church because they have Tuesday night or Tuesday afternoon dinners or something.
Right.
So they're walking on this broken up sidewalk that, it's just a matter of time. Luckily, nobody's
yeah, trip
fallen that
there.
I know of anyway.
It might be a lot easier to sell too.
Yeah.
Good point,
It's their only egress, a lot of them.
yeah. So could you do that?
So we're looking to,
Well, the village line is here, to come
Okay.
down
The village
Stockton.
line is farther up here.
yeah, it's
Well,
away,
yeah.
right. And how far do we wanna?
I'm
I mean,
gonna say,
ultimately-
going down this way?
You can go as far as you want. It's gonna come to, a function of cost, no matter
I think
how
it's
big or
gonna
small.
Well, if we take that off the board, just put it up here. Start
Yeah.
at the village line this way, and as far as it goes, it goes.
Okay.
Hopefully, it will make it to, like, the driveway of the church.
And I'll speak to the DOT about, because I spoke to Rich Heiser about coming back to
The
Delaware
bridge,
Street, and they said, well, I don't know when we're gonna be able to come back, but, I'll
I
speak to him
mean, if he's
again.
gonna come back at another time, then let them do Delaware Street.
Yeah, they did that other part already, maybe we can finish it.
For our part, coming out of Hillside Terrace and taking that left down,
Yeah, that's right.
But,
look
no,
there.
it's a valid point. Just see how much it would cost to do this whole thing down here, and then give us an idea, and then we can see how much we revamp over there.
Or how much, that will get us,
Right.
replacing that here, how far will it get us?
Yeah, and I mean, part of it, we were looking at both sides of the street here.
Right.
If we're only looking at one
One
side of the
side,
street.
right.
So it might be, we might be closer than you think.
Almost go twice as far.
Yeah,
what is that pink section on the riverside of Delaware Street, next to the Veterans Park? Yeah, the pink sidewalk there, that's gonna be replaced?
We were proposing to, it looks like.
What's on that strip? Is that the shoe store strip?
McDonald's, isn't it?
No, it's one down from McDonald's, the garage.
Oh, Underwood's.
Underwood's Garage.
Oh, no, he doesn't want to,
Because
because
they're
they were
their
down there already,
asphalt's all the way out
they
to
were
the
gonna
street.
pave it, and they said no, because he didn't want them to pave it, so you can cross that out anyway.
The other thing is, I see that you don't have it in front of Veterans Plaza, but if that's a waterway, I wouldn't want to spend a whole lot of money on it.
We're not gonna do that anyway, they're gonna lower that anyway eventually.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, these are just tax maps. The village's property is the parking lot and goes all the way out to Delaware Street. So
Okay.
the initial intent was to try to keep it on the village.
Gotcha.
They're tax maps. They're not, ultimately, this all needs to be surveyed, so you know exactly where a given property starts and stops, where town and where state and village and right-of-ways and all that stuff come into play, so that, you're working on
That,
where you have permission.
the end of Bridge Street there, where that pink area starts,
Yep.
is that the Wayne Bank? Yeah, right there,
this
that
is.
spot.
No, that's Point Bank on this side, this is the other side.
Right. This is, not Iowa's
Yeah,
anymore.
What I'm trying to find out is, does this really need to be replaced? This pink area right here? Because we could add that to Stockton Avenue.
Good.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, maybe that's if you do Water Street to Bridge to Stockton Avenue, and I don't think Bridge has been the bridge is all right.
yeah.
Yeah, the sidewalk, it's passable. It's as soon as you get off the bridge and make the turn, it's kind of hairy.
Yeah. Yeah, go down that way and up around here. Instead of coming up this way, come down this way over there.
Okay.
It might be close to, it's gonna be close.
Just a thought.
It's a good thought. Okay.
Okay. The applications for this are due the 16th of August.
So why are you sitting here?
As soon as you get it, we'll get together and
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say,
we'll call a
we need
meeting.
to schedule a public, one, to ask for authorization to move forward with submitting it, and two, to confirm the local match. There's a resolution that has to be pertained to that, and then we'll have a breakdown on the budget
Okay.
and things like that, so. That's the last thing.
That was enough?
Thank you, John.
Sorry I gotta put you through it, but it was a good idea.
So we're gonna have a meeting for this project before the 16th,
Yeah, what day's today?
the 6th.
6.
10 days.
So do you guys want to,
Probably want to schedule it.
yes,
Yeah, how
One would be,
how long
How
do
much
you
time
need?
do you need after the meeting to make the 16th deadline?
We can have everything ready so we can just hit send.
Okay.
So probably the 15th.
What day is that?
Wednesday.
Wednesday the 15th?
you gonna come, David?
No. Actually, maybe, it might be better for me.
Yeah. Okay, Wednesday the 15th is good?
When's the holiday? Are you playing?
That's a very good point, Teresa.
Can we make it the 14th or the 16th? No, you give me
Can't, the 14th?
Can we do it on the 14th?
Sure. You go with 14th. 14th is Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Tuesday the 14th.
Tuesday the 14th?
At what time?
What time? 9 o'clock?
Good.
That good?
Works for me, if it works for you.
Okay, work for you, 9 o'clock good for you? Okay, Tuesday the 14th at 9 o'clock. Okay,
I'm gonna leave you down.
No, not yours.
thank you. Thank you.
Very good.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay, number 4, moving right along. Well, I thought we were going faster, but, all right. Trustee reports. Dave, you got anything?
Yep. Wait a minute.
Waiting. There's no waiting. Chop, chop.
Put the meeting in the calendar.
Sync here. The Walton Theater Preservation Group met on the July 17th. They're getting things ready for the fair booth that they have each year over there. The theme this year is going to be more a matter of, you know, they had the theme one year for the projector that needed to go digital and all the fundraising. This year, the theme is going to be more a matter of what they've accomplished so far for Walton Theater Preservation Association. And when they started listing it, it was significant. They're going to try and increase their social media presence through the Facebook and those sorts of things. They have a number of work bees just to continue to improve the interior of the theater and the entranceway. The security system, the new locks and motion detectors are all installed and operational, and the people with key fobs have been trained accordingly. The next meeting is August 21st at 4:30 at the theater. And then at that special meeting we had, we talked about the shades for the 2 windows. Long story short, I can't find the 1-inch shades like these, but I can find 2-inch shades. Anything 1 inch would be special order, and you're not going to want to pay for them, from what the people at Lowe's told me. And those are sort of narrow and tall. Obviously, Lowe's has them for, I think, it's like $24. $24.97 each. They'd be the right length, but they'd be an inch or so too wide. But she said that the crew would be able to cut them off with some of the table saw or the right kind of saw. People do it all the time. It's like a fake wood kind of material.
You're talking blinds, not shades.
Blinds.
You're getting me confused.
This kind of thing.
Okay, because there's a shade on this big door. That's why I was
I know,
thinking
but
you
at
were
the
talking
meeting,
shades.
everybody wanted, I wonder too, but at the meeting, everybody wanted to match these as best we could with the side windows.
Oh,
And they're no cord. You pull down on a tab in the middle without, there's no cord involved.
okay. You
And
mean the
Lowe's-
board, when you said, I'm sorry, Dave, the board wanted to match that? Is
At that meeting we had,
was
I think
on.
you were there at the,
Okay. Yeah, no, I wasn't here. That's why I was asking who. It's the board.
so that's it. So they're $24.97 each. Lowe's and Oneonta has one. They thought they had more, but they only had one. And the Lowe's in Binghamton has 3 in stock. And I just would need, I guess, authorization or approval. I don't know how it would work for Jody to cut a check for Lowe's, either I guess I'm in Oneonta tomorrow, but they've only got one there. I'd have to go to Binghamton, or maybe they could ship it up. I'd have to find out. For
Did you check Walmart out?
Walmart?
Yeah, they have a lot of shades. So, yeah, it
So-
was just a question.
If the shades are cheaper and there's already a shade on the door, why don't we just get a shade to match the door for the window, and it'll be $1 something for each shade, minus the cost of the cutting of the shade. I just thought it was gonna look ridiculous to have.
But
Well,
I wouldn't,
they're probably gonna be up all the time, except for the few times that
yeah. I hate to make you go through this again, but I'm thinking that a shade would be,
Well, there's a shade on the door. I didn't realize that
Yeah.
when I made the protest that it should be the same. Shame on
we
me.
didn't have it.
so,
Just a suggestion.
okay.
And the blinds that you're talking about are gonna be wooden, or are they like the
They'll be
white
just like
ones?
these, only wider, dark brown, and they wouldn't have the,
The shade.
are those cord, yeah, they wouldn't have cords. There's just a tab on the center, and they just sort of slide up with friction, or a spring effect, but there's no cord involved. They had some sampled there at the wrong size, and they work really handy. They're better than the cord. They're not, there's no tension. You don't have to worry about a cord breaking or getting tangled up or anything.
Right. I would think if we're gonna go with shades, then we should get, blinds, then we should get blinds for the door too. Be consistent one way or the other. Either do shades there and blinds there, or
Well,
blinds
for us, we
everywhere.
really don't have a problem with the way they are. It's for the theater, they're having that special. We're
Right.
not, we don't care.
So, and again, because what is it, 3 days a year?
Yeah.
I would do it the cheapest way possible. Just keep them rolled up, you won't even notice them. Except when they're needed. Is that okay with you?
So buy 2 shades.
Is
that what you mean?
Yeah, and just keep them rolled up, except when they need them.
I think we could afford to spend money on the theater for 2 window shades. White ones.
Yeah.
Best to make a motion, David, would be happy with that. Just doing
So you're making a motion to change it to shades?
So I want to do shades. You want to do shades? Just
You wanna do shades?
pull down shades?
Yes.
That's
All right, I make
Now,
a
can
motion
we-
that we go buy them at Ace over here. They have.
Ace
Can we make
Hardware.
it that Jody can cut me a check up to because otherwise I'm gonna have to come back.
Well, we can go to Ace, they can do them, right? Ace has them.
We have an account there.
I can do.
We have an account there. You can go right there.
The
We
village
can go
has
right there.
a credit card that you can use.
I just wanna do it simply, so I'm not going back to Oneonta.
But I think that you can do it at Ace, they have the shades.
Ace will
In
cut the
Walton.
shades.
Ace will cut the shades to
We have an
match.
account
Then
there.
while we're here tonight, I'd like approval for Jody to cut me a check.
We don't have to, we have an account
You have
there.
an account?
And I
Just
can
go there,
in as a
just go there.
trustee and say, give me these 2 things.
Unless you don't give your name, because
Well, you
your
won't
name's
even
not
have to.
good
I
there.
think we have somebody on staff that can go over there and just have it all done in a jiffy. Don't we have someone that does that?
Butch?
Butch,
So there you go.
could you have one of the guys take care of that, Butch?
I
What do you
thought Brian
think?
does that stuff.
Brian, he's gonna delegate to Brian. That's Brian's thing.
He's off the street.
But you ever find yourself in a spot where you're really sorry you brought something up in the first place? I have.
All the running he's around and did, and now we come down, we should have done this in the first spot, but would you,
You made a
I
motion.
made a motion to go over to Ace and bust have
yeah,
them cut
I need a
them.
second on that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And I'm out of the loop, right?
Yeah, you're out of the loop now, you're good. You did enough running around.
All that work for, here.
Anything else, Dave?
Well, I know.
Thank you, Dave, for trying anyway.
Dawn at the Oneonta Lowe's and I got real close for no good reason.
I think we need to move on.
We move on from now. You done, Dave?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'm just thrilled I came back. I get better every
See
week.
what you're missing? Mr. Condon, you ready? You got
I'm
anything?
ready. I got a little something here from the recreation.
Hope you have better luck than I did.
They had the pools open 28 days out of 31 for the month of July. The swimming lessons, they had 197 children in 2 sessions.
Nice.
The arts and crafts had 119 youths participating. Tennis had 14, basketball had 25. Because of most of the college kids, Brian says he's looking to probably close them on the 26th of August, unless some of them are around and we have some real hot days, they maybe
Okay.
open it. and the other program's going to end on the 9th. And that's all I have. You want that?
Teresa, you have
I
anything?
have nothing, thank you.
Copy back. So
Stephen?
I do.
Yes.
On behalf of the Code Enforcement Department of this fine village, I would like someone to make a motion to present to the CFM for floodplain manager a fee of $120 so that our floodplain manager certification can be renewed. Payable to Clark has the information.
So we need someone to make that motion.
I'll make that.
You need a
I didn't
second?
even understand it. Wait a minute. Could you say it in words that I
He has to go to flood school to get a certification.
Is
Steve
this a
does.
recertification?
Yeah, a certification he does every year.
Okay.
Did I say annual?
I'll second it.
No one's listening.
I
No one's listening to me.
Well, join the club, Steve.
I heard, yeah, listen here. Teresa didn't hear you. She's
No,
the
I
only
heard him.
one.
I just didn't understand them.
Oh.
He was using big words.
So I need a motion for the village.
We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Good job, Mr. Sam.
On behalf of the village court, the Venerable Justice Hall has requested that the village make a motion for him to be able to submit proposals to JCAP. Now, I'm not the acronym expert, so please don't ask me what JCAP stands for. We'll talk about it in executive session.
Justice Court something.
Thank
Yeah.
you. The consideration, the motion would be to put in proposals for the four following items. The remodeling of the jury box chairs, which are
Remodeling chairs?
liability. They have to be replaced, I imagine.
Oh.
The jury box with the chairs.
Oh.
The whole thing.
So that's one. The remaining double doors need to have sealed glass. So I don't know if the doors have to be replaced or the glass has to be
What's
replaced.
what's in it now?
Unsealed glass.
I think they're on the front of the building upstairs.
Oh,
They
okay.
did the one side, now they
Gotcha,
need to
okay.
do the other.
I like the way you translate what he's saying. Thank you, Jody.
The third item is the air conditioning system. There is none previously or currently.
We talked about air conditioning up there for several years. They still don't have any?
No?
No.
Just got one in his office.
They come and ask and we turn them down.
And we gave a big fan, I think they have a big
They
fan.
put in for a grant previously. They didn't get enough to put the air conditioning in.
Okay.
Yes, that's true. We have money left over. And the fourth item being an elevator for what it says here is
Yes.
ADA compliance.
Right,
American Disabled.
That's come up before, too.
yeah. We can
Do
get
we
money
have
for,
room, even if we had the
yeah, they do it on the
funds, do we-
outside. They can do it on the
Oh,
outside.
I don't know if it's an elevator or if it's like one of those seat things.
Oh, the chair.
Chair.
Yeah,
Oh.
No, he talked to me about an
an
elevator.
elevator, okay.
On the outside, they have a glass thing,
But I
Really
don't-
expensive, aren't
yeah.
they?
How are you gonna do an elevator for $30,000 grant that he's
You can't,
asking
Yeah,
you
for?
that's
can't, you
what I'm
can't, you
saying.
can't do it all. So it'd probably be the chair.
Well, it's also not other, with an exterior elevator that you're gonna run into compliance issue with the historic building.
Well, we'll go with whatever you can afford. Probably the chair is the most likely thing you can afford. Okay. That's it?
Just that they submit proposals for
Right.
those four items.
So
Okay.
he's just asking for permission to,
To apply for it.
Proposals.
okay, I'll make that motion then, to give him that.
Second?
Motion?
She made the motion that he applied. You get
Oh.
To give him permission to apply.
God bless you. Need a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Seconded.
I have no further business.
I was sneezing.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mayor's report, I have really nothing on this one to read. Number 6, NICOM fall training.
You're not gonna do that?
Oh, what is this? Oh, thank you, I do have it, I'm sorry, I do have something. Dear Mayor Snowville, the Board of Trustees, the Walton First Baptist Church construction project is progressing well, with the exception of some early delays. We are pleased with the results so far. We are anticipating completion of this project by mid-September and are looking forward to our first service in our new sanctuary. The building permit expires August 17, 2018. We understand the extension is required and we will apply for the extension. We are requesting a no-charge extension of 45 days with an expiration of the extension to be October 1st, 2018. We feel this will provide enough buffer in the event of any further delays. If no cost extension is not agreed to, we feel a prorated cost should apply. Our calculations determine a prorated cost for 45 days would be $92.25. We also understand code enforcement officer has completed most of his duties on site except verification of inspections for final electric and fire suppression, which is performed by technical inspectors hired by the contractor. We are requesting favorable considerations in regard to this extension. Sincerely, Robert Reinhardt, Beacon.
Is there a fee for extending a,
It's, I heard Steve said 50% of what the original.
And we charged them already originally, right? Correct? We charged them for,
$1,500, I think, the first.
we didn't charge them anything.
No, they paid for their permit last year.
Yeah.
To build the sanctuary part.
Which
And
was,
they're good for 12 calendar months?
Yes.
Yep.
so the next fee would be about $750, but that's
Or the prorated cost of $92.25. That's something you could do too. So what?
I don't think we've ever done those
We haven't done
for
that before.
anybody.
Oh, that was gonna be my next
we've
question.
never done what, Jody, prorated it?
Prorated or waived it or anything for anybody.
So do we want to start now, I guess is the question.
Well, this is a project that was, I'm not going to one way or the other, but this is a project that was delayed a little bit. They paid the initial,
Well, they're gonna need that permit until someone grants them a certificate of occupancy. They don't know for certain that it's gonna be granted to them on September 1st. That's why the permits run for a year.
yeah.
I mean, we don't give anybody a refund when their job is finished in February and their permit runs till the following January.
Correct. So I'm looking for suggestions.
I mean, it's a nice idea, but we've never done that before.
Okay. So what's your suggestion?
I suggest we write back to them and tell them that they should think about renewing their permit. And whatever the cost is for
At the
it.
full course?
What's the cost to renew the permit?
50% of what their first one was.
I don't
And I think
know.
that was total was $1,500, so the next one I think would be $7.
Oh, wait, okay, yeah, that was,
We can do
Yep.
prorating there.
Any ideas?
What does everyone else think? What do you
how
think?
often, I guess I wish Steve was here. How often does it come up where somebody's building permit expires and the project is still not finished? I mean, if this is an extremely rare thing.
not- I don't
then
think it's
guess
that
I wouldn't
often.
mind, but I just don't want to create a precedent of.
Is it a lot?
He renews quite a
He
few.
renews quite a bit, so he says.
It happens quite a bit?
Yeah.
No, and we don't prorate others.
No.
Then I think we're probably on we're going to create a precedent we wish we hadn't. As much as, I like the idea, I like the concept, but if it happens with any regularity, then I think we're creating a precedent we'll be sorry about.
Did you speak to Steve about this?
No.
No.
I had no clue about it until just now. Well, I mean, I saw that.
I sent the letter
Yeah.
to everybody.
Everybody's got it. You had it in your
Yeah,
email
yeah,
too.
no, I saw it.
Yeah.
I did see it. I just wondered if
No, I didn't talk to him about
Steve
it
had given us an
personally.
opinion.
So, what do you feel? I need some opinions.
I think I agree with Dave. If you know, the regular routine is that they have to do what they have to do.
Okay. So you feel they should apply like they do, or just renew it like everybody else does?
Well,
We already set a precedent that we make everyone else do it.
yeah, and I think if this was a one-time thing for permits in general, then I'd say, let's work with them. But if it happens with any regularity, and I
It does, it
gather it
happens a lot,
does,
yes.
then I think we're setting a precedent we don't want to set.
Okay. So we're gonna deny that and say, just apply for a regular permit, right?
That they
So
just
maybe-
go through the regular channel.
Right. Who's gonna make that motion?
Do we have to make a
I
motion to
don't
do
think you
that?
do.
No, we just say, what do we say? Just
Does it have to
send them a note, saying we have to go
apply
through.
for the permit the way they
Okay.
would ordinary?
We took no action on it then. Okay, now NICOM.
Did you want to?
I have another one too. Oh, this is the next one, right?
Yeah, did you want to set a public hearing for that?
Yes. I think everybody got a copy about, we're talking about is looking to do a session for local law regarding the clerk and deputy clerk. I think I talked to everybody about it. I had looked into it to see about the position of clerk and deputy clerk, not making it an appointed position every 2 years. I had Dave Merzick check into it. He called NICOM and he called the comptroller's office, and they said there are other people that have done it. It's not a problem, but you have to have a public session and talk about it.
You have to make a local law.
Like a local law, yeah, local law, so we have to have a public hearing on it. So I would like to have a next meeting to have a public hearing on it.
So the motion now would be to have a public hearing to make a local law
Right, to
for the
discuss,
permanency of the clerk and the
right.
deputy clerk positions of the
Right,
village.
for the
Correct.
public input.
Motion, I make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Anything else I forgot? Thank you.
That's all I think.
Now you can do the NICOM.
We got the fall training school, schedule. There's several new classes that neither Misty or I have, taken. So we were both interested in going to NICOM in September. We'd be leaving around noon on the 24th, returning late that Thursday night, so we'd be back in the office on Friday, the 28th. So I'm just looking for permission for Misty and I to go. There is money in the budget for this training school.
What are you gonna learn?
There's a whole list.
There's a lot of new stuff. I looked at it. There's a lot of stuff that,
Jody, you mentioned that there's $2,000 in the budget for that. And then Misty asks to go to something in Cooperstown. So how much is that one?
That one isn't, there's no charge.
no charge, that's just a,
And then let me ask you about your salary. Where does that come out of? Does that come out of the training budget?
No, salaries come out of wherever they're budgeted for. So mine's split up between the three funds.
Okay.
Just like when the police go to training, their salaries don't come out of training, they come out of the budget,
Okay.
the personnel line.
So then you're gonna have a little less than, well, you'll have about $235 left in the training budget.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make a motion that they should go. So now the office will be closed for those days that you're away, is that right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I'll make a motion to let the clerk and deputy clerk go to the training.
need a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The seven is the grant, we
Yep.
made it, that's already done, okay. So number 8, the homecoming,
Did we do,
Parade.
did that include the training Misty wanted to do as well?
yeah. Oh, no.
It was requesting to do the civil
Yeah.
service
And
training.
I would make a motion to let her do that as well.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Good catch, Dave.
Yeah. Okay, number 8, the homecoming. The homecoming weekend has been finalized the weekend of September 21st, 2018. The homecoming parade will be on 9/22/18 in the morning, once again. I believe we will do the traditional route. I'm thinking of line up at the bus garage at 8:15 and start at 9. So, need a motion for that?
She has to fill out paperwork, is that?
Jody's
I
already,
have to do that, yep.
Jody's gonna take care of it.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Number 9, the HUD Annual Civil Rights Certification.
Yeah, I forwarded that,
Yep.
letter, so I just need a motion to approve. The civil rights
that was-
certification,
yeah.
annual certificate.
Do you have to fill that out, or does?
It's already filled out. He just has,
I just
we
gotta
just have
sign
to authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the next is the, oh my God, where's the one for the pool? I thought, you got that one, Jody? I thought I had it.
Oh, the
Got it.
exemptions of the pool fills customary?
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know.
okay,
We forgive the sewer
we
portion
forget the
because the
sewer
water
portion.
doesn't go
All
down the
right,
drain.
number 10, okay, to whom it may concern, I am writing to ask you for a reduction in my water sewer bill on May 28th and 29th. I fill my pool with approximately 6,500 gallons of water. This water was not sent into the sewer, so I am asking if you can reduce my bill accordingly. My address is 53 St. John Street. Thank you for assistance, Jennifer Fay.
Jody, can Misty check to see if that's an accurate count of gallons?
She did.
She did. Then I make a motion to forgive that.
You need a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And we had one more for 11 Franklin, but you probably can't read that. It's the same thing with the,
Yeah, this one was confusing.
Yeah.
I'm using my brother's, and then I decided
Yeah.
not to. I'll use
It's the
my
same
own.
thing.
But I'll make the motion.
And then the motion for 11 Franklin.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. That's it, I think, other than we gotta go into executive session to talk about personnel. What else is it?
we can do it on the next one.
Okay, thank you, everyone.